very good morning to you, Grenada, and the rest of the world on this Thursday morning under gloriously beautiful sunny skies. I'm George Grant saying thank you very much for joining us for today's edition of Gudday Grenada. Today is the 19th day of December as the countdown to the holiday season continues. Peter is first. Well, congratulations, Mr. Bishop. Peter is first this morning. Must have spent the whole night up. He says it's cold in Brooklyn this morning. Well, Peter, get your butt down here. It's nice and warm and sunny. Joan Wellington's also there this morning. What happened to Hazel this morning? Don't know. Let's take a look at what we're going to get into. Chester is saying good morning as well. Let's take a look at what we're going to get into this morning. I haven't heard anything from the government here, but I did come across a piece on the internet overnight about a ban on the sale of carbonated beverages and sweet snacks in schools here in Grenada. And that's good news. That's good news. Something that's been talked about for a long time. Well, looks like it's finally happened. This being the holiday season, we're going to pay some attention to Christmas. We'll bring you the sounds of Christmas in India and Africa. These are two cute little videos, both very short, but very cute, because you'll see how people in other countries serenade their environs at this time of the year. Mr. Brzezinski, I do expect, is going to be with us. I'm assuming that he's going to show up at about 9:15. And then we're going to push the national report back so that we can let Mr. B get in there early, just in case he has to run some errands. The busiest retired person I know of. And by the way, before we get into things this morning, I have a little note for you. To those of you who are customers of Grenelec, pretty much everybody who uses electricity in this country, please be advised that Grenelec's customer care centers will be closed for business from 12 noon on Tuesday, the 24th. That's on Christmas Eve. They're closing at noon. And again, on Tuesday, the 31st, New Year's Eve, they're closing at 12 noon. They're wishing you happy holidays and the best wishes for the new year. Now, in November of 2019, Grenada's Education Minister, Emmeline Peer, announced a ban on the sale of carbonated beverages and sweet snacks in schools. And this ban will take effect on the 1st of January next year. I'm just reading this off the stuff that I got off the web last night. The diet and nutrition. The program goal is to reduce sugar consumption in an effort to lead to lower rates of overweight and obesity among Grenada's youth. As of January 2020, vendors will no longer be able to sell carbonated beverages, sodas, or sugary snacks at any public or private school in Grenada. Heard that? Vendors will be issued a notice informing them of the new school nutrition policy to ensure that they will be in compliance. Parents will also be prohibited from including these items in students' bagged lunches. Grenada has experienced increasing rates of overweight and obese children in recent years. Education Minister Emmeline Peer believes that eliminating sugar-sweetened snacks and beverages is a way to start reducing childhood obesity and related chronic illnesses. Sugary beverages and snacks often contain empty calories, meaning that they have little or no nutritional value and do not provide the same feeling of fullness as other more nutritious foods and drinks. The World Health Organization has recommended that children reduce their consumption of sugar-sweetened beverages as a means of decreasing their risk of obesity and associated physical and mental problems, such as type 2 diabetes, high blood pressure, asthma, sleep disorders, depression, and low self-esteem. The ban, like I said, begins on January 1st next year. Jamaica also instituted a nationwide ban on sugary drinks in schools, which was effective as of January of this year. Several cities and school districts across the United States have banned sodas and sugar-sweetened beverages in their schools. Boston was one of the first to do so back in 2004. In 2005, California's state legislature passed bills to eliminate the sale of soda and junk food on public school campuses during school hours. Other recent efforts to reduce sugar intake in the U.S. include soda taxes. They're going to tax them soft drinks, such as in places such as Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and Berkeley. That's out in California. Okay, quick look back here. I'm going, hello. Let's see who's there. I said good morning, Chester. Good morning, Benedict. Good morning, John Franco. T.F. Richards on the road. Good morning from North Carolina. Kipling Francis is sending God's blessings. And Carlene Vesper is saying good morning from a very cold Brooklyn today. 18 degrees Fahrenheit. Ouch. Woo-hoo. Lincoln Roberts is sending much love to everybody. And Sonia Macklin Scott. These are the folks who are there this morning. Now, well, the season is upon us in full swing, and the airwaves are filled with the sound of parang music, a sound which is synonymous with the Grenadian Christmas festivities. But this morning, I'd like to share with you how two other countries have taken traditional Western carols and added their ethnic flavors to them. Let's start with India.
Oh, come, let us adore Him.
Now, that is what Joy to the World sounds like when done by the Indians. Now, let's hear what the Western carols sound like when the Africans, actually, they're not just going to sing, they're going to dance it for us. Check this out.
Feliz Navidad, prospero año y felicidad. ¿Qué dice africano? Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. This is a season of love. This is a season of joy. Celebrating Jesus Christ. Celebrating His birth. He gives us life and gives us joy. Now let us celebrate Him. Merry, merry. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. My dress is ready, my shoes are ready. To church I go and praise. Mama, tata, senga mutyetulie. Lela lukulu, azaritwa. His birth brings us joy. His birth brings us life. His birth is everything. Merry, merry. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Masaka, kids Africana, we wish you a Merry, Merry Christmas. Merry, 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 Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Now, come on, you got to admit those kids are cute, aren't they? Aren't they? All right, folks, if you take a look on your monitors there, you see that we're getting, I can't believe this man, smack on time, 9:15, Mr. Alan Baczynski. How are you, sir?
Good morning. I'm very well. Season's greetings to you and yours.
Thank you very much. To you, too. I certainly hope you have written to Santa Claus, and without divulging what you have asked for, just a yes or a no?
No?
You neither, eh? Alan, listen, boy, you know, I have this thing already planned, you know, where I'm going with you this morning, but I'm going to give you the first shot and just simply say, Alan, what's up your sleeve this morning? Give me 3 guesses, and the first 2 don't count. What's up your sleeve this morning, AB?
The issue must be corruption.
Corruption. Oh, I thought it was going to start with the word B, like in buffoon.
No, I'm not paying attention to the impeachment.
Excuse me?
No, because what's the point, really? I listened to a few hours of the proceedings yesterday, which are a rehash of everything that we've heard over the last several weeks. But the Republicans went to extremes, comparing the process to the Salem witch trials, to the impeachment of Jesus Christ by Pontius Pilate. I mean, these people are professed Christians who have abandoned all their principles in the pursuit of the single-minded objective of getting as many judges appointed into the federal system as possible who share their bigoted views. And that leader, Mitch McConnell in the Senate, not only has made no secret of his agenda, but has been on Fox News laughing at the fact that he spent the entire time that he was majority leader in the Senate frustrating every effort made by the Obama administration to appoint any judges. And that is just at the federal level, the circuit courts. Forget about the Supreme Court, because we know what happened to Garland Merrick. So I'm not paying any attention to them. This is a mere distraction. The issue must be corruption. We have heard in recent times the leader of our OECS, companion state, sister state, Antigua, where the Prime Minister is making it clear that he needs somebody working at the IMF to be fired.
Yeah.
Something to do with an audio recording, which you and I are both familiar with.
Yes.
He apparently is able to identify the speaker, and apparently has taken issue with some of the statements made. My only reaction is I would like to know to whom the speaker was addressing the remarks. Someone called Philip, apparently. I don't know who that might be. If we find out who Philip is, then we might be better informed as to who the speaker is. But it doesn't change the fact that the speaker has expressed opinions which are well-founded, because as we have discussed, there is a lot of research out there which concludes that it is corruption that has led to the underdevelopment of a lot of countries in the world, not just in this region.
Yeah.
But if we were to stay closer to home, a recent survey has has estimated that 25 to 30% of the economy of Trinidad and Tobago is the so-called informal economy. And this is perhaps what the administration there and the central bank governor are trying to address. You want to try and bring the informal economy within the ambit of the formal economy. Because unless you know what is actually taking place in an economy, all of your national data, the statistics, mean nothing. You cannot plan for your water infrastructure. You cannot plan for electricity. You certainly can't plan for roads if you can't understand where the money is coming from, in the case of Grenada, to import motor vehicles by the several hundred every 2 weeks. You cannot plan if you have no idea what is the source of the economic activity. You cannot plan if you don't know who are the individuals involved in trafficking. Trafficking does not mean just narcotics. trafficking also means human being. When you see individuals who, on the face of it, are not Grenadians, and you can tell by the way they dress, by their complexion, by their speech, and you have to ask yourself the question, what are these people doing here? When it is alleged that there are places of ill repute frequented by individuals who ought to know better, then you ask yourself the question, where is the money coming from and where is the money going? Who are the people who are able to operate under the radar in the informal economy because they deal only in cash? As you know, the old saying, cash talks. So corruption must be the issue. So whether it is in Trinidad, which is very close to us, and we can see that it is necessary for people with large reserves of cash in Trinidad to find a way to exchange the blue notes for the polymer notes issued by the central bank in the next 10 to 12 days. And I don't think the central bank will be open at Christmas and Boxing Day. So they really have a problem. But the corruption is fueled by the greed of those individuals who benefit from it. And it is not poor people that benefit from corruption, because they only get the crumbs falling off of the table. It is the big money men who roll around with the cash. Those are the ones who benefit. Those are the ones who now have a problem in Trinidad and Tobago in trying to find creative means to exchange the ill-gotten gains of blue notes for the polymer notes. I saw a video where the former governor of the central bank, one Jawala Rambaran, is making complaints about the puppet central bank governor and a 2x2 lawyer and a failed engineer. Not being Trinidadian, I have no idea whom he is maligning in his statement, in his mockumentary that he published, disseminated. But he is clearly accepting the fact that people who are growing, you can grow bhaji and cucumbers and tomatoes and whatnot, are perfectly capable of stockpiling $50,000, $75,000 in blue notes. Now, I haven't bought vegetables on the side of the road in Trinidad, but I would hardly think that you would buy vegetables and you would pay for it in a blue note. But nevertheless, maybe the cost of living in Trinidad is higher than I understand it to be. So corruption means that your national planners will always be at a disadvantage. But how does corruption affect us individually? I was avoiding a pothole at the road which leads to the Grandance estate. I was on two wheels, and so I have a fairly good understanding of potholes, where they are, and how best to avoid them. But what particularly struck me was that the particular potholes being attended to were being filled with what is referred to, I believe, as cold mix. That is just the black sticky tar. the asphalt. Now, here you have an 8-inch square pothole, about 6 inches deep. And so a shovel full of the sticky stuff is placed into the pothole. Then some beach sand is spread on it. And it is left to be compacted in place by vehicles driving along. Because there is no filler in the hole, no gravel, no aggregate, then the first heavy shower of rain or the first large SL vehicle that drives over it creates a depression. The water pools, and within 3 weeks, the job has to be done again. Now, you have a 50-50 chance of describing this, a choice. Is it incompetence or is it corruption? I don't know the answer. The people who issue the contracts to the road patchers and the people who carry out the road patching having obtained a contract. And then now that I say it, I wonder if it is the case that the people who have been awarded the contracts are actually the same ones who are carrying out the works, or whether there is a system, a network of corruption involved in this. And if not corruption, maybe just sheer incompetence. One of the more frightening announcements this week came out of the Ministry of Infrastructure, I believe it is called, since we no longer have a public works department, where the permanent secretary was sharing with the public the identified or suddenly perceived or the revelation that we need to have a 3-year corporate plan for infrastructure. Well, help me here. I thought that we had been talking about a plan to the year 2030, which had been revised to 2035 or some such. Where is this 3-year corporate plan suddenly coming out of the blue to address the matter of sinking and subsiding roads in Molyneux and wherever else roads are falling? We have a serious problem with planning. We have a serious problem with either incompetence or corruption. Take your pick. We have a serious problem with the people who are running our country, because they're running it down and are done.
AB, John Franco says you're opening up a can of worms.
Well, I'm sorry to have done it, but I don't know if you have a can of worms, if the worms could boil up until they bust the lid. I don't know.
I just hope you have $350,000 to pay the lawsuit.
Not 1 cent.
Just going back.
Remember, it is the truth that shall set thee free.
Yes, sirree. Going back a little bit here, Margaret Francis says, actually, Alan, it is not unusual to pay for small items in TNT with a blue note. It is far more common than you think, especially since the TT dollar was allowed to float.
Well, let's put it this way, $46 or $43 EC is probably what you will get for a blue note. But if I'm buying vegetables, I wouldn't have thought I would be buying $40 EC worth of bhaji or tomatoes or whatever. They were just spoiled. Seems excessive. Nevertheless, it is the people in Trinidad who are living the experience are the ones that catch in the tail. We just have to be careful that we don't import those sorts of problems.
Do me a little favor, and please don't laugh at me. What is bhaji? I told you
To
don't
tell you
laugh at me, Alan.
truth. No, no, no. I'm laughing at myself because I'm using the term because I heard Jawala Rambaran say it. But I'm thinking it must be similar to Kalalu. I'm not certain.
Jawala Rambaran. You spent the whole night practicing that, didn't you? Jarala Rambabam? Who?
Rambaran.
Rambaran.
Yeah. I was amused that as a former governor of the central bank, he kept talking about these truths that they want to push down the truth.
Yeah. Yes. Okay, Alan, so you talk about corruption. Alan, I just can't let you get away with this. I mean, I spent the whole night in anticipation of listening to you speak about somebody whom you have branded as a buffoon. I mean, yesterday was a historic day for the United States. That's all I've been hearing on television, historic day for the United States. And you come on here this morning and you just kind of brush that aside?
Yeah, I mean, if the Republicans want to compare him and the process to the Salem witch trials and Jesus Christ's appearance before Pontius Pilate, I can't address this level of ignorance. So I wouldn't waste my time with that, frankly. And perhaps no one else should, because these Republicans they are beneath contempt. When you listen to them, speaker after speaker, in complete denial of the facts. I mean, why bother? You cannot have a discussion with people like that. You cannot have an argument with people like that. They are fanatics. They are ignorant. And frankly, in this season of goodwill and in the spirit of good cheer, I don't think that any of us ought to depress our outlook by listening to these idiots who constitute the Republican minority in the House of Representatives. Let us instead concentrate on the idiots whom we have to listen to whenever there is a meeting of our House of Representatives.
Floyd Nicholas is asking here, and the Democrats are not doing likewise? Are the Democrats doing likewise?
Sorry, the Democrats what?
Aren't they doing likewise?
No, I thought that the presentations that I saw on television were measured in their delivery, constituted the facts. None of this is news, of course, because we've heard all of this before. And they have gone through the procedure which their House rules require. So I didn't see any Democrats going off ranting and raving. They seem to have been well choreographed with regard to observing the solemnity of the proceedings and the unfortunate conduct of the commander-in-chief, which has led to the impeachment entirely of his own doing. So I suppose, I think as the Speaker Pelosi said, this is an exercise in civics. It's a civics lesson. And from that point of view, I found it very instructive. It's a pity that some of our lawmakers don't understand that they swear an oath to the Constitution that overrides party loyalty. And perhaps if they were better informed, we might have a more satisfactory system of governance in our country.
Would you say, Alan, that what happened yesterday is a reflection of the will of the American people?
No. because only about 50%, according to polls, only about 50% support the impeachment. So I don't believe in 50% as showing one way or the other. It could be 50-50. It's just like I have never understood the move for Brexit, because that referendum was won by an absolutely razor-thin majority, which is why, to my mind, our system where you need a two-thirds majority for constitutional change makes more sense. Bear in mind that Trump having been impeached, if it gets to trial in the Senate, that jury has to vote to impeach again by a two-thirds majority. And that won't happen, given the current constitution of the Senate, where Mitch McConnell has already rigged well, there's no trial yet, but he's already made it clear what the outcome will be. So I don't see that any of this reflects the will of the people. If you ask me, the will of the people was subverted in 2016 through the influence, and this is documented, through the influence of the Russian security services using social media with these bots to influence the easily influenced. Remember, almost 3 million people more voted Democrat than Republican. It is because of this unusual structure of the Electoral College that the buffoon ascended to the highest office in the land.
You mentioned that maybe 50-50 split in the population's view on this. Amy, do you think that what happened yesterday could be or probably should be an example for the Grenadian people that they do hold power in their hands? In other words,
I don't know how many
Grenadians.
I don't know how many people were watching. I don't know how many people understand. I don't know how many people care. And that's my honest opinion. Because let us go back to where I started. Corruption. If a significant proportion of people literally don't give a damn, as long as they could eat a food, we have nowhere going and we reach.
So we'll blame ourselves.
Absolutely. There is ignorance abroad. There is misinformation. There is disinformation. And there is ignorance. Ignorance in the term of meaning, the meaning I'm putting here to ignorance is lack of information as well as no desire to have information.
Sort of don't care attitude.
Yep, they don't care. And this is promoted by our culture. Ash Wednesday could fall on Good Friday as long as Rum Day. Ay, ay, ay.
All right, Amy, let's move now from Mr. Trump's impeachment to Grenada very briefly. I'm sure you've heard that there are 2 lawsuits floating around big time now. And I want to get your views on that more specifically. One person is being asked for $150,000. The other one's asked for $350,000. And
yeah, well, what I find interesting about this, now they're not lawsuits yet. So far, they've just been letters, you know.
Right, correct.
So therefore, when you mention lawsuit, I was about to immediately say to you, don't go there, because the matter is sub judice or sub judice, depending on your Latin pronunciation. But since it is not yet before the court, we are able to comment
Right.
on these letters that we have seen. And what struck me is that the complaints outlined in the first letter, to me, appear to be a lot more serious complaints. And only $150,000 is being claimed. But in the second instance, the complaint has to do with the circulation of a video which was starring an individual, and they're asking for $350,000, which suggests to me that a video of your comments appears to be capable of more injury than the complaints in the first letter. I think something about wicked, corrupt, and some other descriptions. So apparently the video is worth 350, but calling somebody a old thief is only 150. I don't understand.
You know, the press conference that was held this week, Claudette Joseph and her attorney, they were pretty adamant that this thing ain't going anywhere. And, you know, they were calling on Grenadians to stand up because there's a lot going on in this place that just really doesn't make an awful lot of sense. Do you think that cry is getting out there, A.B.? Stand up, stand up, stand up.
I don't know. As I said earlier, the corruption appears to be endemic. There are people who don't care as long as they could eat our food. They are not concerned about where the money is coming from. They are not concerned about our birthright being sold to foreigners as long as they could eat our food. That is the depths to which a significant portion of our population has sunk. And I regret to say that the character of the citizenry is directly related to the character of those charged with governance.
Yes, sir.
In corporate circles, there's a phrase which has been in circulation for a long time. It's called tone at the top.
Yeah.
Unless the tone at the top is one that is worthy of emulation, then don't expect anything lower down. And that goes back to the old saying, fish does rotten from the head.
Yeah. All right, A.B., just before I let you go, a couple of comments here, one from Donna Joseph, one from Cassandra Mitchell. Donna says, GG, the Grenadian people don't know the meaning of holding power in their hands because it's not about morality and transparency in governing this nation and what the people who they have elected is. As the old people would say, the commonness which is taking place and no one is blinking an eye and holding these people accountable once they can eat their food. You agree?
Yep, unfortunately, that is what we see. I will also comment that with regard to people appreciating the power that they have in standing up for what is right, your time and my time passed.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where are the young people? Where are the young professionals? Where are the people who went to university? All of these doctors and lawyers and engineers, all of the people who are engaged in skilled work, who should be able to tell a politician where to get off. Where are they? I do not know. Maybe they're having a good time.
Well, there's a youngster here by the name of Cassandra Mitchell who says, A.B., you're right. As an advocate, I have noticed a lack of social and political consciousness amongst our people. I get the impression that many don't care about being informed. Others are misinformed. How do we change that? Can we?
Well, the truth is that as what is it? The ship has sailed, or the horse is out of the stable, or whatever you want to say. Because the reality is that social media is where many people get their information from. And if the social media networks that you are on is comprised of like-minded individuals who are all susceptible to the same messages coming from the same sources, and sometimes you don't know whether it's actually the same source because they're using bots. So social media is a terribly dangerous platform to be on, unless you are concerned enough to be skeptical about what you see. And if the only news you get, if you are addicted to having your phone provide you with information, a fair amount of that information is going to be wrong. It's going to be propaganda. And this is how, as I understand it, these elections that we have seen up and down the islands, there are certain media consultants who are doing an excellent job in using social media for these nefarious purposes. So, God help us.
Okay, Amy, yeah, that's what we have to do, ask him to help us. Thanks a lot, Amy. We got to run. But let me see.
Okay. How come you said nothing about my red shirt? It's Christmas.
Oh, it's Christmas. All right, sir. I thought it had something to do with the Dominican elections, but I wasn't going to bring that up. No? All right. Amy, I doubt whether we'll be seeing you again before the holidays. May I take this opportunity to wish you and Hazel a wonderful holiday season. And boy, do I look forward to you continuing your rant next year. I mean, I'm just waiting with bated breath. God knows where we're going. Thanks a lot, bro.
Okay, all the best.
Take
Bye.
it easy. Mr. Alan Bashinsky there on a Thursday morning with his usual Thursday morning John. Thank you very much. Folks, quick break time here. And then, the National Report.
GRENADABROADCAST continues to celebrate 25 years of partnership and growth. So this December, we're giving every customer the chance to spin and win. Just pay your bill in full on or before December 18th. Then, on Wednesday, December 18th, join us at any GRENADABROADCAST customer care location. Spin to win giveaways that will make this season even more festive. Hams, groceries, gift vouchers, wine, electricity vouchers, and more. Join the celebration. December 18th, spin and win with GRENADABROADCAST. Visit our website or Facebook page for more information. Terms and conditions apply.
Why wish upon a star? For a bank is better by far. Whatever you're wishing for this Christmas, will give you low interest and no fuss.
Co-op Bank is making Christmas wishes come true. Fix up your home, treat your loved ones, and get everything on your Christmas list this year with our no-fuss loans. As we count down the 12 days to Christmas, you can win awesome prizes every day. Special terms and conditions apply.
Christmas wishes come true with Co-op Bank and you. Welcome home.
Juve chocolates, cocoa nibs, and cocoa balls from Diamond Estate Grenada are now available at Amazon.com, Amazon.ca, Amazon.co.uk, and GrenadaMarket.com. Try the sensational touch of nutmeg and a touch of ginger chocolates, 75% dark and rich, 100% pure cocoa, and their 60% dark and sweet chocolate bars today. Amazon Prime members enjoy free shipping on these orders in the USA, Canada, and Europe. GrenadaMarket.com. When you can't come to the island, the products of the island will come to you.
Because your vehicle is a necessity, being roadworthy is critical. Hubbard's Motor Department introduces its new tire and battery sales and service outlet located at Building Supplies Compound in Grand Anse, close to the Sugar Mill Roundabout. Available are a wide range of competitively priced tires, maintenance-free batteries, oils and lubricants. Keeping in mind your busy schedule, this outlet is equipped to provide you with fast and reliable service. Simply drive in and you'll be delighted with your service experience. For more information, contact 440-2087. Hubbard's, quality service, affordable prices.
Integrity Commission puts focus on implementing its gift management registry for 2020 to eliminate corruption. We'll have details to this story and more in the national report. With the details to the news for Wednesday, December 18th, I am Rikisha St. Louis. The Integrity Commission is in the process of formulating a preventative corruption scheme called the Gift Management Registry. The registry will be done in collaboration with the Accountant General and will give public officers the opportunity to safeguard themselves against the possible corruption. Compliance Officer at the Integrity Commission, Mrs. Simona Dow Mitchell, says under the scheme, persons will be asked to declare their gifts to the Commission. She explained that gifts can be in the form of money, trophies, and vehicles.
Persons declaring is a sort of declaration process in a sense, because for example, dignitaries may be traveling out of Grenada or so, and they may get something. It's also part of our preventative corruption scheme. So, for example, let's say someone from a public office went overseas and they would have received a gift. We're not saying that it is a bribe. We're not saying that it is anything dealing with fraud or so, but we're asking persons to declare that gift to the Integrity Commission.
Is it gift as a monetary? Or
it can be monetary items. Yes, so whatever it may be. It can be a vacation for your family. It can be a brand new car. It can be a $1,000 check. So any gift, whatever it may be. So the responsibility of that public officer is to declare this gift to the Integrity Commission.
Following the declaration, the Commission will determine whether the gift is personal or state-owned. The Commission will also take into consideration gifts that were presented from foreign nationals.
When the Integrity Commission decides, okay, based on probably the reason why the person would have received that gift or the value of that gift, and then it will either go to the Accountant General or it may go to that person's office. For example, it can be a trophy. We also are sensitive to, for example, the Chinese persons. We know it is something cultural, that you cannot refuse a gift because they may take it personal. And of course, we don't want to offend anyone. So the Integrity Commission also understands that some gifts, we wouldn't expect for persons to refuse them because of the nature of it.
She reiterated that the gift registry will be implemented as a preventative scheme against corruption.
To safeguard yourself as a person and your integrity, you will present that gift to the Integrity Commission, and then the Commission will decide what next to do with it. If you decide, if a process like this wasn't in place and you decide to keep that gift, Mr. A might come back and say, remember what I gave you, and I need a little favor from you, or my friend need a favor from you. All that can be corruption. So this process is a preventative process, so it can save person's integrity.
Public education on the registry will continue in 2020. Government will launch its new web portal on Thursday, December 19th as part of moves toward digital transformation. The new web portal will make government ministries and activities more accessible to the public and the diaspora. The launch will be held at the Grenada Trade Center Annex from 10 a.m. and will be streamed live on GIS Channel 22 and on Facebook via gis.Government Information Service. Continuing with the news, men's javelin world champion Grenadian Anderson Peters on Wednesday made a courtesy call on Prime Minister Dr. the Right Honorable Keith Mitchell. Anderson, who is back on home soil for the first time since winning the world title in Doha on October 6th, while speaking with the Government Information Service after his visit to the Prime Minister, says his successes has to do in part with the tremendous support and guidance given to him by his day one coach, Paul Phillip.
Coach Paul Phillip is always in charge of everything. Basically, he sends a program. Even though I'm not in Grenada, he writes my program, tells me what to do. We communicate to the social media networks. So I send him back my training videos. Like, he corrected through the videos, which is pretty good to me.
Technology can't beat it.
He's able to spot a lot of different things in the videos, like what I'm not feeling, what I'm not seeing in my throat for myself. He's able to see it on record, and we're able to analyze it together and find different things that we both didn't see. So doing that has been pretty good to us. So we're gonna continue doing it.
The world champion says his underperformance at the World Games in 2017 was the impetus at which he worked physically and mentally to attain the championship title in 2019.
During all the throws, every round, I was telling myself that I'm going to become the world champion. I was looking at guys running up the throw, and I was telling myself that I'm going to become the world champion. I'm the world champion. And then, when lining up for the last throw, I was looking on the run, and I was like, yeah, I'm the world champion, because I'm the last person to throw. That's when you know for sure
That's
he
right.
is the world champion. So my mind kind of swayed a little bit, so I was running down the runway smiling and everything, not too focused on the throw, but it was a good feeling.
Coach Paul Phillip, who has been the one in charge of Anderson's growth, applauded the commitment and efforts of Sports Minister Senator Norland Cox and his ministry for the assistance given in helping nurture and train Anderson into a now professional athlete.
The ministry has been very good to us in allowing us to be using the facility at will.
Okay.
At Las Vegas, we have keys to the building.
Right.
And we call from time to time to ask for, maybe we want to adjust something on the ground. We never turn down. They always say, well, okay, go ahead once it's not, you know what I mean? So the ministry has been supportive. Now with all the successes, I think from 2016, I can say that there has been a really, really good relationship developing up to now.
This is the National Report. We'll have more news after the break.
Did you join the public service on or after February 22nd, 1985 and have since retired? This might be important to you. Government understands that the NIS pension may be insufficient to take care of your needs. So, while it awaits the court's ruling on the matter of pension for public officers, government has taken action to protect your quality of life so that you can take care of your needs in the meantime. Persons who joined the public service on or after February 22nd, 1985 and serve continuously in an established position for a minimum 26 years and 8 months and retired at age 60 may be eligible to receive an advance payment, which when combined with NIS represents 70% of their last salary. For more information, call or visit the Pension Secretariat in the Department of Public Administration, Ministerial Complex, 440-3767.
Welcome back. Over 20 agriculture workers and stakeholders were enlightened on the development of a proper business plan in an effort to ensuring the successful implementation and rollout of the AgriCom project. We get more in this report from Karima Lewis.
After some minor setbacks, the Ministry of Agriculture and Lands is forging ahead with its OECS Regional Tourism Competitiveness Project, AgriCom, as it hosted a business plan development workshop for some staff members of the Ministry of Agriculture and other stakeholders. The AgriCom project is a World Bank financed initiative geared at enhancing access to markets and sales for competitively selected farmers, fishers, as well as their allied aggregators and agro-processors. The one-day workshop, which was held on Tuesday at the Ministry of Agriculture's conference room in partnership with the Food and Agriculture Organization, was aimed at strengthening capacity to build business plans for farmers and other agriculture stakeholders. A total of 20 participants from inside and outside of the ministry benefited from the workshop. According to project coordinator Gregory Delsol, this workshop ties in well with Component 3 of the AgriCom project.
This initiative that we're doing here today is part of Component 3, and that is building capacity both within the Ministry of Agriculture and outside of the Ministry of Agriculture to do business planning, because farmers are business people as well, and agriculture sector people are business people as well, and they also need to plan for their business. And business plan writing, business plan implementation, business plan development is part of what we aim to do to strengthen the sector, to build the sector.
Facilitator of the session, Juan Shez, who is Trade and Marketing Officer with the FAO, says this initiative is part of the first phase of implementation of the Technical Information Package of the FAO towards the implementation of the AgriCom project. He speaks on the importance of stakeholders seeing the project as not just one more project, but part of a bigger landscape.
The project in itself cannot achieve the objective that it had set by itself, but it must work across actors, across sectors in order to add better value, to be more coherent, in the way that it is trying to address the different problems, to be more efficient in the use of resources, to be more effective in the achievement of objectives. So that's one of the main messages and the main points that we are highlighting is the need for synergy and collaboration.
He explains what he thinks should be the most important points participants leave with.
We have to start with the market. So one of the main points that the international expert has been sharing with participants, and I think that they have been quite enthusiastic and receptive, is the need to understand the markets, how the markets are evolving. We are at times of change that are very fast. There are many global trends that we need to understand in order to see what are the better opportunities for Grenadian agriculture and how we can set ourselves to take advantage of those opportunities.
Participant Jonathan Francis of the Southern Agricultural District gives his perspective on the one-day session.
It is very timely and informative, and is going to assist us because it has given us some guidelines, or should we say some templates, as to what we should use and how we should go about getting the results as quickly and as simply so that the business plan can be successful.
For the Ministry of Agriculture, I am Karima Lewis. Thank you, Karima. Finally, in the news, coaches and physiotherapists in Grenada will be exposed to new state-of-the-art technology and techniques to apply on injured athletes during sporting events in 2020. That's according to Sports Minister Senator the Honorable Norland Cox during his contribution to the 2020 budget. He said 6 doctors and trainers from the United States will be in Grenada for a 2-day sports medicine conference on January 9th and 10th to engage sports personnel and therapists. This is all geared towards improving the organization and execution of sporting events going forward.
This will be a conference where our physiotherapists, the doctors who work with athletics, our coaches, they are going to be engaged with sports medicine doctors coming from the United States, 6 doctors and trainers coming from the United States, and we'll sit for 2 days they'll be exposed to new techniques in terms of dealing with concussion, how to identify injury, how to treat those injuries to ensure that our athletes are better prepared for the field of play. Mr. President, we think this is a very important conference, and also we have given some commitment to have it as an annual activity.
Senator Cox said our athletes are performing exceptional locally and internationally. Therefore, there is need to improve how they are treated and cared for during and after an injury.
There are new technologies. New technologies. One doctor was saying to me that they have a phone now, an X-ray unit the size of a phone. They could go directly on the field with that and to check an athlete to see if something is wrong with an extra portable X-ray. So that is the direction in which we are going, and we welcome those developments, and we believe that this is a very important conference that's going to happen early January, Mr. President.
That story just ended the national report for today, Wednesday, December 18th. Let's recap the top story. Integrity Commission puts focus on implementing its gift management registry for 2020 to eliminate corruption. On behalf of the entire news team here at the Government Information Service, I am Rakisha St. Louis saying thank you for joining us. Until next time.
Juve chocolates, cocoa nibs, and cocoa balls from Diamond Estate Grenada are now available at Amazon.com, Amazon.ca, Amazon.co.uk, and GrenadaMarket.com. Try the sensational touch of nutmeg and a touch of ginger chocolates, 75% dark and rich, 100% pure cocoa, and their 60% dark and sweet chocolate bars today. Amazon Prime members enjoy free shipping on these orders in the USA, Canada, and Europe. GrenadaMarket.com. When you can't come to the island, the products of the island will come to you.
Can I have a chicken lunch, please? Large.
Real nice today.
I don't want that.
But you just asked for a chicken lunch.
I don't have problem with the lunch. Afraid the container.
What is the problem with it?
These styrofoam containers, they don't good for the environment. They shorten with life.
What foolishness you telling me? So what you want me to use?
Put my food in this.
Where you get that?
At the food fair, where you could get all biodegradable food boxes and disposable food supplies like cups, plates, anything you could think about. Name it, it's there. And they don't harm the environment. Food fair, taking the lead in cleaning up and protecting the environment. Hey, like you take me advice, you get in your biodegradable food supplies.
Well, girl, I supporting who supporting the environment. That is why I shop in at food fair.
Food fair, where you can fill your baskets without emptying your pockets. Products distributed by Hubbard's agency, Kirani James Boulevard.
Why wish upon a star? For a bank is better by far. Whatever you're wishing for this Christmas, will give you low interest and no fuss.
Co-op Bank is making Christmas wishes come true. Fix up your home, treat your loved ones, and get everything on your Christmas list this year with our no-fuss loans. As we count down the 12 days to Christmas, you can win awesome prizes every day. Special terms and conditions apply.
Christmas wishes come true with Co-op Bank and you.
Christmas safety tips. Always unplug Christmas tree lights before leaving home or going to sleep. Check your tree lights and outdoor lights for damage each year before you use them. Discard lights with frayed wires, loose connections, and cracked sockets. Do not overload your wall outlets or extension cords. Remind children never to touch lights or outlets. Select lights appropriately. Never use indoor lights outside or vice versa. Happy holidays from GRENADA.
Well, my dear friends, that's going to do it for today's edition of Gudday Grenada. But before we go, parting word from the Holy Scriptures. Today's reading comes to you from the book of Mark. Mark chapter 11, verses 22 to 25. Jesus answered, "Have faith in God. Truly, I tell you, if anyone says to this mountain, 'Go, throw yourself into the sea,' and does not doubt in their heart, but believes that what they say will happen, it will be done for them. Therefore, I tell you, whatever you ask for in prayer, believe that you have received it, and it will be yours. And when you stand praying, if you hold anything against anyone, forgive them, so that your Father in heaven may forgive you your sins." Mark 11, 22 to 25. Okie doke. And let's see here. Thank you very much, everybody, for being with us this morning. Beautiful day here. I hope it's still that way out there. When I came in here this morning, it was just great. I do hope that you have a blessed day, and by God's grace, let's get together again, same time tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. Bye.